As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams. As I look upon my life, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dreams.
Good morning, everybody. Yay, man, what a beautiful Thursday morning. Yeah, on the Inside Show with none other than Talk with Joan Thursday. So, yay, I am excited, I am happy and healthy, blessed and anointed, and I'm filled with the power of God. And I don't know about you, but it is winter, and we are feeling the winter here in Josie. And so, yeah, I hope you are warm and you have your cup of coffee, a nice warm cup of soup. That will be so nice. But nevertheless, I have people in the studio and I'm excited because this topic is very dear to my heart. So we are talking on personal values and social issues of the youth of today. That is a mondful, guys. So yeah, I have people in the house and I have youthy guys in the house. And then we have our pastor in the house. Pastor Xavier Hendricks. Yay, man. And so, yeah, I want you to tune in. You ask your questions to them and they will answer it if they can. But yeah, we have our youth leader with us here this morning because it's youthy stuff, right? If we talk about youth, we talk to youth people.
Yes, ma'am.
Youth people. Youth people know what youth is all about. I can just see it, but I can't say a lot about it. Because things have changed over the years. So yes, welcome, beloved. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. We really, truly do appreciate you guys coming out. In the absence of my two co-hosts, they all on holiday, guys. They left me alone in the very sad. I shame, man. But nevertheless, we're carrying on. Die dinge moet aangaan. Hulle kan nie staan nie. Hulle moet voortgaan. So yes, beloveds, we have in the studio people who's gonna say hello to you, right? Hulle gaan vir julle sê hi julle, hallo daar. We're gonna start over there. Your name, your surname, are you married, are you not married? You never know who's watching the show.
Hey. Not yet,
Future
Pastor
wife
Jody,
is watching.
not yet. Hello everyone, my name is Brett Peters. I'm one of the leaders as well in the Rhythm Youth. And yeah, I'm just happy to be on the show, happy to be a part of this movement in the youth. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, you?
Oh.
Hi guys, good morning. I'm so excited to be back here again. For the previous one was such a cool conversation, so I'm excited to be here with some of my team, and obviously the host with the most, Talk with Joan.
Yay, man.
And my leader, my captain, Xavier Hendricks. But good morning and thank you so much for tuning in and subscribe.
Very important, guys. Hit that bell, man. Come on now.
Ding.
Yay. Good morning, guys. My name is Mondré Abrams. I'm also one of the leadership on the Rhythm Youth. And I'm not married yet.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's coming in the future.
Come on now, somebody.
We're focusing on relationship with God, then we focus on the relationship
come
with
on
God.
now, come on now.
So, but I'm excited for the topic today. It looks nice.
Let's go for it.
Let's talk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. We're back with Talk with Joan. Looking forward to the conversation and welcome. Thank you for everyone that came out this morning. Yeah, I'm looking forward to just hearing the different opinions.
Views,
and
yeah, me too.
Let's get
That's
into it.
now very true. I'm looking forward to this conversation. So yes, guys, you know how we roll it. Today we're not using the mirror. But you can look at yourself
looking
there.
at
Make sure
Yeah.
there ain't no stuff, in the
Yeah.
eyes and stuff.
Yeah, I can see I'm getting grayer and grayer each
I've
day.
one-
It's these children
one
giving
graveyard,
me
bro.
grace, guys.
Graveyard, bro.
Also count as youth if you ever
so-
say.
Yeah, just
So yeah, before I forget, I want to say hi to Violet and hi to Anka. I hope you guys you are missing the show, right? Vi, you there in USA? Maybe you're still sleeping. Yesterday, man, my sister. Maar as jy die show watch, ne, girlfriend, en ek wil dit in Afrikaans sê, jy kan dit maar vertolk vir jou mense daar van Trump se mense wat Engels praat. Maar ek wil net sê hi daar. Ek hoop jy het 'n lekker tyd, suster, en dat dit nie so koud is dan. Jong, ons bibber van die koue hierso. Maar daar is julle so lekker warm, want dit is somer in Amerika. En dan Anka daar in Namibia. Hi, Janne, Anka.
Good
Ek
morning,
dink dit is
Anka.
lekker. Morning, man.
Anka?
Ek dink jy's wakker, jou kinders is wakker, want hulle sal vir my elke keer bel. Sy wonder, ek het nie vanoggend 'n oproep gekry nie, maar ja, ek hoop julle geniet julle vakansie. Maar as julle terug is, nee, is dit weer werk, Jenne. Dit is my tyd om vakansie te hou. Maar nietemin nie, ons is terug op die show. Nou, ons het 'n ysbreker. Ysbreker.
I was like, where's this going?
Ons het 'n ysbreker. And guys, where your thumb goes, right? That's where you're gonna read and you're gonna just answer.
Okay.
Right? So I'm just gonna throw
Make
the
sure you
ball.
first catch the ball. Ooh.
Where your thumb lands, né?
Talk about your feelings.
Oh, that was mine.
Yes, man.
Straight up on a Thursday, bro.
I feel emotions. So what just how I'm feeling today?
Talk about your feelings.
Oh, talk about your feelings.
I don't talk about my feelings. What am I feeling? I feel okay. I'm very neutral. I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm just
You're in between.
but
Content.
I'm also I'm content.
You
That's
must
the
Welcome
word.
to the youth of 2025.
I'm
Neutral.
very I'm
That
very
already
content.
shows you, right, beloved, social
Where we-
issues.
Social
issues.
so neutral.
Aye,
No
yes.
But
social
yeah,
issues.
there's
Neutral
nothing,
issues.
Justifiable issues.
there's nothing exciting. But yeah, I think I'm more peaceful,
Yeah.
Which is
Graceful.
good. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
awesome.
choose violence
Wonderful,
99.9% of the time.
I choose violence.
Always.
Me.
Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived.
Guys, I'm sweet.
Mm,
Don't my future husband could be watching this. Don't do that. I'm sweet. Okay.
When I feel worried, that's a deep one, eh? I think when I feel worried, I'm actually quite bad with realizing I'm feeling worried. I probably only start realizing it maybe 2 or 3 days later, when the shoulders are sore. I'm like, oh, what's going
that's
on? I haven't
insane.
done anything. But I think,
Crazy.
I think when I feel worried, and I've now realized I'm feeling worried, I think the first thing I do is I like to sit and just listen to gospel. One thing I've done, I've deleted any music that is not like gospel based on my phone. So that's the first thing I do is I just play gospel, and when I stop trying to do things by myself, I immediately just go and speak to God, speak to my parents. That's probably my first go-to when I'm feeling worried. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
And that's how you know Brett doesn't play soccer, ladies and gentlemen.
That's exactly can't catch.
It's not me.
That's the problem.
Hey guys, I'm old. Okay? I feel the most stressed when there's no money in my bank account.
Don't we all?
If I see there's a last 200 rand and I start thinking, ish, how am I going to make now? Yeah, no, for real. Because there's pressure, there's a bunch going on. And when that happens, it's like, hey, I need to come up with a plan now. So that's when I feel the most stress, when there's no money.
No money, no honey.
Hey.
Name something creative you like to do. I sing 99.9% of the day, even when I don't realize it. So when I wake up in the morning, it's always just, it's there. When I'm showering, I'm busy singing without realizing that I'm singing. And someone tells me, hey, do you realize you're singing? I'm like, no. But that's something creative I like to do. Ek sang alles. Even when I sneeze, achoo! Hallelujah.
Hey, man. Maak jou eie songs.
Your eie song.
Eie
That's
songs.
it.
I'm still learning to cope with.
Hey,
Yes.
this
That's a deep
this
one.
board is too
You know,
hectic for me, bro.
I'm actually very old to still worry about coping skills, you know what I'm
Yo.
saying. But I'm
Somehow that level.
I'm still learning to cope with Christians that have no sense of direction in their lives. I think I am still learning to cope with narcissistic behavior.
Oh,
Ja,
yeah, it's deep for Thursday.
for a Thursday morning,
Early morning.
Morning crap.
People
Don't-
just
I
woke
am-
up.
Don't even have water.
don't have water. A lot of people don't have water, but I'm still learning to cope with narcissistic behavior in the Christian circles. That's narcissism. Ja. Ja, guys, kom ons gaan in daar. So ons gaan nou praat personal values, right? And social issues. In Afrikaans, persoonlike waardes.
Okay, I'm learning.
Ja, en sosiale dinge. Nee? So dit is waaroor ons vandag praat. Ons
dat was
praat
bit of
oor
a
baie
Afrikaans.
Persoonlijke
waardes.
waarde.
Wat
Sosiale
deg jy
dinge.
waarde in? Ja. So yes, guys, so the Bible highlights both the potential and the challenges of youth. And if we look at the youth today, there are so many challenges, especially when it comes to values and social issues, right? So emphasizing the importance of early faith, right? Obedience and service to God, while acknowledging the temptations and pressures that young people face today. It also portrays examples of young people being used by God for His purpose and encourages older generations to mentor and support them in their faith journey. So that is a mouthful right there. So I want to ask the first question. I want to ask, what do you value as youth? What do you value personally?
Pastor Joni, I think what the youth values the most is giving us responsibility and respect. You know, I feel like very often that, you know, the youth might be overlooked. And I think one thing that they like is give us the responsibility, help us to empower ourselves. And when we're overlooked and we don't get that responsibility, I think that's where we start getting people who want to just, okay, if you're not going to give me responsibility, then I'm not going to be responsible. You know.
Right.
Another one point is respect. I think a lot of people don't feel like they respected, that they, like I said, overlooked, that what they say doesn't really matter. So how much value can I truly have as a person if there's no one respects me, if no one's able to
Absolutely.
see my point of view? Yeah.
Wonderful. I love that.
I think, can I be honest? I think the youth values image, their image. And we see it a lot in media. People, or the youth especially, try to find themselves on social media. So they very, like, they want to look good. They want to have this image, this reputation. So they value their image. They value, like, popularity. Am I popular? Do I have the followers? Do I look good to the people outside? You know? So I think that's a one thing. And like we said, and like I said, that's one thing that the youth, personally, I think they
It's
value.
image. But
It's
do you
image,
think
yeah.
it's only mostly
young.
amongst
The
young
youth.
women?
No. I think it's more so on young women, though. I don't think it is only young women. I think men also, young men also worry about their image. I just don't think it's, because women put a lot more effort in their image,
That's right.
whereas in men don't necessarily, like you as a man can wake up and leave and you find a woman, they wake up, they have to do their hair. Okay,
That's
must I
right.
put on makeup?
Yes.
So yeah, I think image for sure is one thing that the youth values.
Right, I like that. So what did you say?
Okay, so
what do you
I'm-
value the
so
most?
you guys spoke on behalf of the youth. I'm gonna speak personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
I value honesty. I really do value honesty. I value somebody who can be open and honest with me about everything and all
I
things.
like that.
Because I know where I stand with you.
That's
And if I know where I
right.
stand with you, I know where or which level of friendship I'm gonna hit
That's
to.
correct.
I think in this day and age, people should value having people who are actively there in honesty with them. Because when you're honest with somebody, you won't let people just do anything.
That's
You'll
right.
warn them when something is,
That's
is
right.
you know, you can see something is not good for them. And I think for myself right now, I value honesty above a lot of things because then I know where I stand with you, and that's everything I need to know for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. So if I need to go, because you, Brett, you said that you value respect. So my next question is, as a youth, do you value respect, and do you give respect and want respect back?
Yeah. I think actually yeah. I think the topic
I think
of
it's important because sometimes we tend to say, but you don't respect
But
me.
you don't
But do
respect.
you respect?
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
And I think that's a very important question, Pastor Joan. And I think to answer your question, I would say no. I think there is a lack of respect. And one saying that I've always been so against, and I feel like it's been so deeply ingrained in our thinking, is you have to earn respect. I think that's saying I disagree with wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And I think that is infiltrated in how we interact with each other on a daily basis. No one is willing to just respect one another. And you have to earn it. You're not worthy of my respect. You're not worthy. And that has just infiltrated the youth. That has infiltrated the older generation. And last night I was busy reading in Romans chapter 12, and it speaks about respect people that are less than you. Value people that are less. And I don't think anyone actually wants to respect someone else. That's why there's a lack of respect within the youth for the older generation. There's a lack of
That's
respect
right.
for the older generation, for the youth. And that's where we keep butting heads, and that's why nothing can get solved. Because no one wants to give respect. Everyone just wants respect.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct, because that's what I notice. That's exactly from a generation in the not millennial, baby boomer generation. I see that. You know, in our generation, we were taught to respect elderly people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Same.
it was deeply rooted within us. That's why today I still respect. Whoever you are, I respect you. You know what I'm saying? I respect the lady at the toll. I respect the gentleman who's washing my car. I respect due to the fact that my parents taught me that.
Yeah.
And in the church, I respect those who are above me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to me, I can see that, you know, when I grew up, when I sat in a bus and there's no seat for someone older than me,
Yeah.
You would get
You'd get
I
up.
would get up.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I would get up and give that person a seat. If I see a child is not doing something today, it once happened to me because I am so used to, you know, saying, no, my baby, that's a, and the child actually said to me, who are you? You're not my mother. You get what I'm saying? So how will we see respect comes back? And I think everything happens within the church circles.
Yeah.
Because if I look at our church, let me talk for us. Right? You in the youth, you are on the youth board, but this is your leader in the youth.
Yes.
Hey, ek is mos kwaai want ek het julle genooi hierso net. So this is now your
Lead
leader
pastor.
Yeah.
in the
whole
church.
church,
Yeah.
yes.
Right. So how will we get the respect like to flow? You know, not you're not gonna tell me. You also young.
Yeah.
True.
Not
Yeah.
knowing it's your spiritual
Leader.
leader.
Yeah.
And comforting at
There's
the
a
same
word.
time.
There's a word that we need to bring into this equation. It's called honor, right? And
Yes,
so
that's
if
correct.
you look at what happens to David and Saul, right? So Saul is the king.
Yeah.
David submits to Saul as the king. David goes and slays Goliath. There's songs made about David that Saul slayed 1,000, David tens of thousands, right? So David gets to a point where he is now becoming more influential than Saul.
Than Saul,
His
yeah.
army is becoming bigger than Saul's army. He's becoming stronger than Saul in many ways. He's more respected than Saul at this point. Saul gets to a point where he starts falling off even. He starts not knowing what to do, where to go, to the point where he conjures up a spirit because he needs direction. Saul gets to a point where he loses his kingship. Saul gets to a point where God removes his anointing off him altogether. But watch what happens when David and his men come into the cave. They get into the cave. Saul and his men are sleeping. One of David's men says, "Hey, yes, Saul, let's kill
Let's
him."
kill him.
David says, "I can't. I still need to honor
That's
this as my
right.
king."
It's my king,
He
yes.
says,
My
"But
king, yeah.
we have a bigger
That's
army,
right.
we're
That's
stronger,
right.
we have more." David says, "I can't, my brother. This
Yeah.
I need to
Well,
honor
yes,
this man
that's
for
right.
who he
Because he knew what the consequences
Yeah.
would be
But
following
even,
him.
But even in the case of he used to be the king, even if David knew that the anointing was removed, even if David knew that there's always not. I mean, David
Still
could have
the
come in with that
understanding.
attitude of, "My bro, my army is bigger than yours. I have
Nah,
stronger
I've
gens
killed
than you.
more
I've
than
killed
you."
more than you. They're making
Yeah.
songs about me. I can must take us all out." Because he could have. But he had this thing where he understood, "Hey, my bro, I can't do this." There's a honor that gets, there's a curse that comes with dishonoring. And I think the concept of honor is where the issue lies, because this thing of respect or gain respect and earn respect and this honor is honor.
Honor.
Regardless of whether it's somebody
Yes.
younger, older,
Older.
they lost their
Right.
position, they still have I know people that are older than me that I've respected for a long time, and even when they fell off, even
You
when I
still-
saw them lose a lot in their lives, I know somebody personally that lost their business, that went from having, a lot to buying, a small little Ford and just making ends meet at this point. But that honor and that respect for the person doesn't go
Never fell
based
away.
on, and I think that's
What you
another
have,
that's
what-
another
yeah.
thing you can throw into the pot, where it's a matter of why do we respect certain people and not others, because what we
With the
perceive.
possessions.
Yeah, we
Possessions.
that they
perceive,
have.
we perceive,
Yeah.
this person has money.
Oh, this
This
person
person
is
is
rich.
driving this car.
Yes.
This person, hey,
That's
now we
true.
respect
That's
the person.
so true.
Yeah.
Or now we honor, or we put the person on a higher platform or pedestal.
Yeah,
And then
pedestal.
to somebody that we think, who's this? And so again, that perception of what we think of people also informs whether we respect them or not. Back to the topic of respect.
Yeah, because you know what? If you walk into a shop and you are dressed anyhow, they won't come to you. Salespeople won't come to you. The sales ladies on the floor to ask, "How can I help you, ma'am?" or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But if you are dressed,
To impress,
you understand. Immediately when you walk into that shop,
you get the attention.
you get
get
the
the
attention.
attention.
Yes, ma'am.
And that to me speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. If you look at that boss thing on
Undercover boss.
undercover boss, they don't even know that's the boss.
This is the owner of the
That's the
company.
owner of the
Yeah.
company. This is
What
the
they dress-
person.
Yeah.
This is the person
Then
who
they go-
pays my salary.
Yes.
And then
I
we
know.
with him and things. He's like,
Yeah.
"Bruh, this is your boss."
This is your boss. But it shows you.
Yes,
It
ma'am.
just shows you. If you have the value within you to have honor and give honor.
And give honor. But wouldn't you say, Pastor Johnny, that also comes from, I always say, you can see, because a lot of people will say, you can see if a person is close to Christ or has Christ by the fruit of the Spirit.
Right?
My thing is, if you have this fruit of the Spirit, you would be respectful regardless.
That's
Because I can,
That's so
like
true.
Pastor Johnny says, I was raised the same way. When you talk, my mother hates you. she hates it with a passion. She's like, you never say to an elder person, you like she hates it. Like that's the small things.
Joan.
Yeah, the small things. My mother would like grilling you.
That's
Don't
right,
talk like
yes.
this. Don't say
Yes,
this.
that's
So
right.
I also grew up with it. When an elder person, good morning, auntie or madam, or you never say the name. You never like. There's always those things that you address, how you address older
Yeah.
people. But I also feel like when you have the fruits of the spirit, you also then move in a certain way. You won't, even if it's someone younger than me, there's a way I'll talk to someone, yes, you're younger than me, but I'll still respect you. Because
Yes.
like Brett says, we have a mentality sometimes where we feel like because they're younger, they don't, not that they don't deserve respect, but what can you tell me? I'm older than you. I
Yes.
know more than you. So
Correct.
what is there that you can tell me, you know?
what can you
So
offer?
when you have the fruits of the spirit, it just comes naturally to like respect people or to be kind to people. So that's why I think it's very important going back to what you value. If you value Christ, your relationship with Christ, those things will show. It wouldn't be a thing of you have to try, because you'll just naturally have that kindness, that grace, that
It's
respect.
so true.
You
I
see.
fully agree with you.
Sorry, Pastor Johnny. I just want to. So I, while you guys are talking, I put it into the dictionary, and this is what the world values. The first thing that pops up on the dictionary when you look at what is respect, it says it's a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. So the world bases respect based on how you
What
look,
you have. That's right.
what you have,
That's
how
right.
much you have.
That's correct.
But here's the interesting thing. The second important part of respect that I think should have been first on the dictionary, it says due regard for the feelings, wishes, or rights of others, which would make it a point of why you need to respect people, not because of what they have, but just based upon who they are. And if the world regards that as secondary, then that's why we as a youth, the countries are moving in a certain way where respect is thrown out of the window because we don't regard people. We want to regard people based upon what they have, what they can bring to the table, what they can offer, not based off of the fact that you're a person and by right of being somebody, respect is then given to you.
Absolutely so. And that is why you find when you get into a shop that you don't get attention due to the fact of how you are, your appearance, you know, from the outside. And it brings us to the same thing where Samuel had to go and anoint David.
Yeah.
You know, the appearance, the outer appearance
That's what the
speaks
Bible says,
volumes,
yeah.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
But the Lord don't
Looks-
look
he looks
at the
inside.
outer appearance.
Yeah.
Appearance. He looks at
Into
the
the
heart,
heart.
and that is why I'm so passionate about the sincerity of the heart,
Yeah.
because I believe God looks at the sincerity of the heart.
Yeah.
So I find that youth are very daring. Youth are very in today's life. They extremely
Go-getters.
daring. And yeah, and they energetic,
Yes, they are.
extremely energetic, right? But how do they put it in the church atmosphere? How's their attitude in the church per se? You know,
Sure.
with their involvement, with what they can give, with their potentials that is locked up within them.
Yeah.
How can they live it, man? You know, because when I was youth, guys, we lived it, eh? We didn't wait for a pulpit. We didn't wait for a stage.
Yeah, come on.
But I see the youth of today wants the stage.
It's the platform.
the
It's the
stage.
platform.
Mm.
But it goes back to image, because you want to be seen.
Yeah.
You want to be seen,
You wanna
and it
be
goes back to
seen.
social issues.
Yeah.
You know, how many followers do I
Do I
have?
have?
You find a lot of people go out of the umbrella of the church and start their own thing. Why? Because want to be seen.
They want to be seen.
Image,
Status.
status.
Yeah.
But my thing is when we look at it, and this is the interesting part, and why it's so cool working with Xavier, is because of the one thing that happens with the two of us. There's a platform, but there's a responsibility for the platform.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah.
where the change comes in.
That's right.
People love having the spotlight, love having the platform, love having the mic, but the responsibility behind that, people don't
they don't want
understand
it.
that you're accountable at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And multiple times when I do certain things or say certain things, I get a phone call afterwards. And I'm blessed in the fact that I have somebody who'd laugh with me about it and then scold me afterwards. And that's when I realized, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
last week we had a bodybuilder on the stage. And I have to speak about it because before people take it out of context, we had 3 bodybuilders on stage whose life is about gym, looking
That's right.
healthy, looking,
Yeah.
being built.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks ago, you preached about how you look in the spirit, how
That's
your
right.
body is packaged.
That's right.
And if you don't look the same way you look physically in the spirit, then it doesn't mean anything to you.
Yes.
And that was the point I was coming with about, looking good physically is great, but if you don't look that way in the spirit, it doesn't matter. The same way where you stand on that stage, if you're not prepped for that, if you're not set for that, if you're not set apart for that, then it doesn't matter what you do there. The responsibility is where the crux of the matter comes into.
So, Pastor Xavier, what would you say? What would you want to see happen in the church atmosphere with regards to the youth? What would you want to see? Seeing that you have the youth leader here, you have the youth with you. You yourself is youthy. What do you want to see? How
He's
they-
youthy.
It's
Come on,
youth.
he's still
I
young.
love that word.
There's no grey hair there. We getting grey. He's staying normal.
Nah, for me, I must be honest. When I was the youth pastor, I was a youth pastor for 10 years, right? I was running a very successful youth, and I dealt with some of the challenges of feeling like you're too young, you don't know what you're talking about, and when you're trying to integrate into the church, it's like there's certain like gatekeepers, like hey, you can't come in our space, you can't,
That's right.
you
That's
know.
right.
So I felt that I know what that feels like firsthand. And when Justin and I spoke, I explained the story to him in detail. I said to him, my brother, I don't want this for the next generation. I don't want because I was at the point where the youth was running independently from the church. Because when I tried to integrate into the church, there was like friction.
A barrier.
You can't come do this here. This is not children here. This is big people here. You can't come and sing this here. You can't come and jump here. You can't tell the people to come to the front. Their bags are gonna get stolen. Like there was always
a block.
there was
Bags are gonna
always
get stolen.
yeah, bruh. I heard you can't switch off the lights. People are gonna fall. You can't. It was like you can't make smoke machine. The people can't breathe. It's like
Asthma. I got asthma.
you can't put the lights. You giving people
Epilepsy.
Yeah, man.
Hey, bruh.
You catch
I don't know if you realize this.
epilepsy.
I don't know if you realize that's what I had to deal with
They're gonna
for
think the
almost
spirit
10
is
years of trying to integrate into the church space. And eventually, when it broke, I had to I had to break it. I had to force my way through the door. And I don't want that to happen to the next generation. I want to see the young people come in front and worship. If you come and say to me, Pastor Zakes, this is the vibe that we like. Can we have like 2 Sundays where we just do this vibe? Then I'll say, yes, let's do it. If you can say, can we have a Sunday where the rhythm team is on stage? Yes, let's do it. Can we do, Mon and I are working now on a drama team. I want to start implementing dramas back again because that's the world
that's
that's the
beautiful,
world
yeah.
I know. That's the world I grew
Yes,
up in. That's the
that's
world.
right.
That's how I used to preach in the youth with drama behind me, music, sound effects. People are seeing Michael Todd now. Michael Todd came out the other day. We've been doing this since
Right.
years ago, bro. I
That's
can show you a
right,
video
yes.
from 15 years where I have the rainfall sounds and people coming behind me and things coming from the sky. Long ago already, we've been preaching this way. And I would like to bring that back on a Sunday morning because it makes people say, yo, this is quiet. Yo, this is different.
It impacts people differently.
It impacts
Yeah.
people
Yes.
differently and it takes away it. So one thing I learned when I was a youth pastor was that people has time, it's like a concentration,
Inspiration day.
Yeah.
concentration span. And then every couple of minutes you have to do something to
Different,
bring
yes,
them back,
yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
bring an element out, to play
Yeah.
a song, to do
And especially
something.
if you're so comfortable with us, our setting is soft. The
Yeah,
lights
you
are
can sit
shown.
and fall
You
asleep.
can fall asleep, and there's some
People
people we
do
watch
fall
like,
asleep.
no. But when you see them come up, then you're like, oh, that person who fell asleep last week is awake.
Yeah, they're awake, they're listening,
Now
they're
they're
watching,
there.
they're taking
Yeah.
pictures of the
Yeah,
screen, they're
Because now
engaging, they're
you're
laughing.
speaking their language,
You see,
basically.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
So for me to
Yeah.
answer the question, I would like for rhythm, and I had this conversation with Justin, to come forward when it's praise, to jump up and down like crazy people when it's praise, to worship. I saw on Sunday, there were some youngsters that came to the front and worship, because what happens is we're leading the charge.
Yeah.
If we there, people are watching us. People are like, okay, so we can. Okay, yeah. Okay, so okay, so we
okay
can.
to
Okay,
be
yeah.
free,
Okay, right. So I
yeah.
can leave my seat and go there. I see
No
people
one's
are
gonna
doing
steal
it.
your bag.
None
you
of them
know?
catch you funny.
We hope.
There's ushers and things standing at the
There's
sections that are
ushers, yeah.
watching and stuff like that. But I'm saying that I want that freedom, because I don't want an environment where you feel like restricted and you can't lift up your hand and you can't shout and you
Yeah,
can't
we're
jump.
told
praise.
where young people don't feel
Nah, I don't want that.
welcome, where
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can't live out their potential. So what would you say is the potential that young people have within them that they
Yeah.
can live out?
Well, Pastor Joni, I think our youth is just full of potential. There's
sir.
so
They
much
are.
potential.
Come on now.
It's actually frustrating how much potential there is sometimes, because we'll sit
Yes,
like
sir.
we'll have our meeting. We're like, yo, they're capable of so much, but why can't they just
Tap
do
in,
it? Just
tap
keep
in,
going,
tap
keep
in.
going.
Come on
I
now.
think there's just a lack of consistency, maybe also just a lack of confidence in themselves as well. I think a lot of, especially within our youth, and I think generally in the
Personal
youth,
values.
Yeah, the values.
yeah, in the youth, I think one of the social issues that we face. I'm also a school teacher, so I work at a school, and I think one thing that we face is kids don't get the confidence from their parents to do certain things anymore. There's not. I mean, when I was young, I felt like Brett could do anything because everyone, like, I'm getting that from home. I'm
They
getting the
hype you.
push from home, not even just hyping, like just encouraging, go explore, go get things wrong, go do things wrong. It's not a,
That's
okay, you've done
correct.
something
Allow
wrong.
it, allow it.
It's not,
Allow
Allow
okay,
the
when Brett,
mistakes,
yeah,
yes.
Mistakes.
when Brett makes a mistake, it's not like, okay, this is the end of the world.
End of the
You,
world,
you
yeah.
are rubbish. You are useless. You
Okay.
useless. Because that's what that might sound.
That's a
That
fact.
might sound harsh for me
but
to,
that's a fact.
but
Reality.
that's what some kids face.
That's right.
But
Every
there's so
day.
much potential, Pastor Joni. I think you remember the youth night when you came, and everyone in youth was on their knees, busy
Yes.
praying. That's what they're able to do. But the problem is somehow there's still that disconnect between what's happening on a Friday, what they're able to experience, and on a Sunday.
Sunday.
And actually,
So what is it that we can do if we look at outcome based? What is it that you think must be changed from your perspective?
go ahead, man.
I think we need to. What I notice as well, the youth always looking for a sense of belonging. They always want to feel like they belong and they want
matter.
it.
I think
and
every
they matter.
every person on the
person,
face of the earth
yeah.
wants a
Wants to
sense
feel
of
like
They
belonging.
want a sense, and because we started like our own, like how the church has departments. We started departments at the youth where it's like, okay, we have now a small media team, we'll have a band, we have this, and I noticed that a lot of the times the kids come to youth and after Friday it's done.
Yes.
So I'm like, then what keeps them?
That's
What makes them
right.
feel like this is actually a place I belong? Because if I just come to church, do I really belong if I'm just there for 2 hours and I leave? You see, so it's the same with youth. Do you really belong if you're just here for 2 hours and you leave? What's keeping you there? What's giving you that excitement of, I want to go back, I want to be there again? So I think another thing we can also try and bridge that gap of just coming and actually being there, where the youth can come and it's like, do something.
So it's a lack of
Serve.
commitment.
It's
Yeah.
also, if you have something to do, you're more inclined to come.
Because you have
So
purpose
because you
behind
have
it. Yes,
purpose
yes,
behind
yes.
it now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have a,
Part of the
So
team,
so
you
also
know
it's
what you
it's,
do.
Yeah.
it's the value that you said, the responsibility given to them.
Yes, going back to what Brett
Yeah.
said, giving them responsibility, saying, okay, we need 3 more people to just welcome people when they come to youth. That gives them, okay, I need to be there because I need to welcome people.
That's
So
right.
now they have that if
Something
I
to
have to,
drive them.
something driving
Look,
them to go.
there needs to be consistency on their part also. 'Cause
As well,
we've
yes.
done that.
Yeah.
Justin, get me 15 young people sharp. Sunday morning you come here, there's 3 of them here.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't make
That's
it.
true.
So
I
the-
can't. This can't.
so
It's
a
like,
lack of passion.
except, bruh, I'm
Passion.
you
Lack of
crying for
passion as well.
opportunity.
And
Here's the
lack of
opportunity. You
responsibility
don't
too.
come,
Yeah.
or you
Lack
come
of
late, or you
responsibility.
just hit me with a message 5 to 9. Can't make it. What do you mean can't make it?
There's nothing we can do in that couple of minutes.
That's so true.
Yeah, so you see, it's the same that we said last week. It's the integrity. So if you don't have integrity, you get what I'm
But it
saying.
goes back to what Brett was saying just now with the issue of give me responsibility. Then
When
if
you
I
have
give you
it.
responsibility,
Responsibility.
then you must be responsible.
Yeah.
I know
Responsibility,
I know
yeah.
off the top of my you know it gets to
Absolutely.
the point where you know who's responsible and who's not responsible.
Yeah.
You know if I ask this one now it's a story. Let me ask Brett because I know Brett is gonna
come.
leave what
He's
he's
not
doing
gonna
and
give
he's
me
gonna come.
issues. He's just gonna
Let me
say,
ask
yeah.
Mondré because I know she's actually gonna get it done. Let me ask, Justin because I know if I ask him 3 o'clock, 5 to 3, he'll send me the thing, okay, it's done. So then others you already know, oh, that's one on the
Yeah, because you find that there
What's
are
the message?
there's always but you will always find that you can
It's human
depend
nature.
on certain
It's a pool of people.
It's
Yeah.
Yes.
it's that percentage.
But now you must keep like record of what like Pastor says you never asked me for hello. Does I ask you this you never came? Does I ask you this you never came? Does I ask you it's like now I must now keep record of your wrong. And I'm not that kind of person. I'm like, but I don't remember.
So now, what do we then say? Will the youth talk passionately about
Sure.
today's youth? What-
TikTok.
Mental health.
TikTok.
Mental health.
But bad mental health, which is so weird.
It's 'cause a glorified thing in the social media.
Pastor Johnny, the youth is so obsessed with having anxiety and depression. I
Ah,
don't
you
understand. Yes, it's a trend. It's a trend. There's these videos that's trending on social media. Like everyone and their aunties today is ADHD. Everyone.
As you can see, I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked.
Everyone. You'll see a person. It's like there'll be this teenager, and then she's taking a video, and it's like what ADHD is like, and then she's just looking, and it's like they glorify having mental illness. It's like a badge of honor now. I have depression. Oh, guys, this morning I woke up. I'm so depressed. The day of the life of someone
what
that
the
has
heck is
anxiety.
depression?
So now it's like they wear it as a badge of honor. It's cool
fit
to
in.
be
I
mental.
also have
asked them,
anxiety.
I asked them, like my grandchildren asked me the other day and said, "Oh, is that part of life?"
Because it looks normal. It
But
looks
never mind more that they glorify it. I go on that stage, I preach against it.
Yeah.
Then I'm the villain. How can you say that? Some of us are really struggling.
Because you're born
Bruh, this
again.
thing is seeking to
But
kill
you
you,
can get
and you
out of it.
glorifying it.
You
This thing
can.
wants you to commit suicide, and you
And they
glorifying
glorify
it.
it. Yeah.
You are literally glorifying a demonic force that's sitting on your
On your
head
head,
and on your
yeah,
shoulders,
your
trying to
shoulders.
suppress you. And you're like,
That's
oh, I
right.
feel so sad.
And it
today.
goes
Oh, I
to
feel-
it goes back to, and you can see it bothers me when Christians do it, because I'm like, you know what power your words have. As a Christian, you should know the power of your words. God created a whole
switch.
universe with just these words. You
Yes.
should know the power of your words. You saying I have depression and then being shocked when you get depression it's baffling, because I'm like,
that's 1 plus
you
1.
literally telling your situation, you telling your body have depression. Now when your body's listening to your words, it's like, oh, please pray for me. Why? You did this. You caused your own problems. And that's why I agree when Pastor Xavier stands there and he's like, he preaches against it. Because I feel like a lot of times it's self-inflicted.
But you see what that is, what we call it in coaching, is a state of mind.
Yeah.
It's the state that you find yourself
Can I just-
in.
can
That
I-
you can actually get yourself out as well.
But
and
can I
as
just say
quickly
something
as possible.
about that? Nah? Remember last week we spoke about Hollywood, mainstream, and all this.
Yeah.
Remember, these people are pushing
Pushing
the
an
narrative
agenda.
and an agenda online for a particular outcome. They're making trillions, pharmaceutical companies, of depression tablets and this. So there's it's marketing for them. It's not, they couldn't care less if you kill yourself, my friend. For them, it's marketing. Oh, you're feeling like this. Are you having anxiety? Take this pill 3 times a day. Take this so and so and so. And next thing you know, you have a cupboard full of tablets. And
You
for
don't
them,
even
they
know
just
what the tablets are for.
twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. They just seeing
And
dollar
the-
signs,
yeah,
my
that's
friend.
the
They
thing.
don't
That's
care
the
about your
thing.
And Pastor
depression.
Xavier, can I add on there? I think one thing that people need to realize is that yes, you are allowed to feel a certain way. You know,
Yes,
you are allowed to.
yes.
There's things that happen, and we're not. When you go up on stage, or when Justin goes up on Friday, you are allowed to be feeling hurt with what you're going through. You're allowed to feel sad. That's not what we're saying. What the focus is what are you saying about yourself? You know, yes, there's situations. Yes, we're not saying that every time you're supposed to have a smile on your face. Every time you're supposed to be walking with, I know that God's got me. Because even when I think Pastor Xavier, you'll know as well. You on stage Sunday after Sunday. You've been in this walk for many years. Pastor Joni, you as well. You've been in this walk many years. But the walk gets tough.
Yeah.
You're not always
Life
smiling.
is difficult.
Life is hard.
Life is hard, my
Yeah.
friend. There's no if, buts, and maybes about it, bruh.
Yeah.
It does get hard.
The one guarantee
and
you do have.
and there is times when you're thinking, oh,
the
how am I going to make
trenches.
it?
Yeah. But now that's where
But
the
you
mind
can't
shift.
sit
Yeah.
in that hole
That's where
and
the
sit in
mindset
that
shift
party
is.
party. Oh, I'm going through
Because
this.
this is a fight. This
Yeah.
is a
Fight,
fight.
It's war.
It is hard.
It's
It's
war.
war, yeah.
It's war.
It's very hard.
It is darkness against light.
Yeah.
So you must understand when you choose light, darkness cannot penetrate light.
Yeah. It can't.
It's always going to be
can't.
against it.
It's going to
If there
be
is light.
against it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Life is very
So
hard.
what it gets me when
So how do you overcome
Yeah.
as a young person the struggles that you are faced with?
I think I was busy watching a good friend of mine's sermon, Mikhail Askins.
Oh, yes, goodness.
And he used another, I've heard it before, but he used such a good analogy. If you go to a restaurant and you order the most amazing food that's going to come, before that food comes, they give you that bread. You know, if you go to Callisto's, they give you that
The
bread.
guy, yeah, with
And
the
I love-
butter.
I love
Yeah.
the bread.
with a hot
So
Butter.
if you put,
And it's
yeah.
melting so
Oh.
that
That
just
bread
made me
is a-
hungry. Come on now, somebody.
So if you eat that bread, if you
Fill
eat
up on the
4 or
bread.
5 loaves of that,
Indulge yourself.
you eating it. No matter how good that food looks, no matter how amazing it is,
Yeah.
you duck already. You can't.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we need to get to, especially as a youth. That you just need to fill up on your time with God.
Christ.
Spend time with God. Get in the Word. Listen to gospel. The reason why you're struggling with lust is because every time you listen to a song, it's oh girl, wah wah wah, la la la. You know, but now you're wondering.
Really does not
But-
listen to the songs clearly.
But like I mean, it speaks that narrative to you in your mind, and then you wonder why you have that mindset.
But that's the mainstream
And it
media.
goes, it goes to the
It gets
mind.
stuck in your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's intentional from the mainstream media.
It's intentional.
want
It's
it
intentional.
like
They're
that.
pushing it
To
in the
create
movies.
this
In
They want
it's the
it
same
like
conversation we
that.
had last week also about the LGBT. There was a season where it was high hot, like they were shoving it in every movie and everything. Then this past June, it was like
Yeah, because it was pride, but you
way
don't see
it was way toned
anywhere.
down. But again, the multimedia and mainstream media has they have their hand on the knob. They can turn it, drop it. Turn it, drop it. If they
All
feel like
about what's happening
if they
in the
feel like
season.
COVID is a thing now, if you inhale, you're gonna die. Full blast. Everyone. Okay, it's done. Everyone. Okay, mask off. It's gone. It's back. It's like they have the control
They
button
control.
to turn it up,
Yeah.
turn it down. Whether it's happening in reality or not, you are watching, you are listening, you are engaging,
whatever you
are
take in
you're taking
stays
it
in
in the
you.
whole
It
time,
stays in
and
you.
then it becomes a reality.
Yes.
It becomes a reality. That's why, back to your point where you're saying that, take in positivity then. Take in the Bible,
Take
take
in
in
Christ,
worship, take
yeah.
in Jesus, take in real
Yeah.
things that can actually, when those things happen, you're in a better space of,
I can
sure,
deal with this.
I can
better.
actually deal with this.
Yeah.
If this is happening, it is what it is.
can.
I need
What
to-
are the temptations of the youth today?
Oh, there's so many.
Yo, everything is a
There's
temptation.
I think you know
Money,
what
money,
one
money,
is that
money.
I think fame. Everyone wants to be famous, especially now. Everyone wants to be an influencer. They wanna have, you know, they
Influencer.
wanna be an
You
influencer.
wanna be
That-
flu.
that's
They
your
want to be an influencer.
H1N1.
They want to be out there. They want to do brand deals. They want to love this lavish life on
Lifestyle.
social media.
Yes.
Like that is.
Yes.
And I think it's gotten to a point where the youth will do anything to reach that point. And that's where the temptation comes in. Because for a girl, they can say, okay, like, go to this club and just get with 1, 2, 1, 2. They'll give you
in
this
with the whole
many.
thing, yeah.
And because you want the lifestyle, they're like, okay, it doesn't seem like that's much. They go, they do the thing, they get the money, and then but they don't realize, and that's what I think a lot of the youth, and I had this conversation this Sunday with Naj, where I was like, she was even saying, the Bible says, when God says, my people perish due to the lack of knowledge, right? So as a youth, I feel like they lack knowledge because they'll do stuff and not realize that there are consequences. I always say the commandments are not suggestions. It's a commandment for a reason. When God said, don't do this, it's not because he wanted to trap you or he wanted to
be
keep
funny.
you.
Realized what it's gonna cause.
If God knows that if you sleep with A, B, C, and D, you are entrapping you. There's always going to be a consequence.
Absolutely.
So the youth does not understand that. They just think, no, man, they just want to say because they don't want you to fall pregnant or something or that. It's always like you're just trying to
There's
be
an
funny.
excuse.
Yeah.
So that brings me to what we spoke earlier, right? With the personal values. How do you value yourself?
Yeah.
If you do not value the person in this body?
Okay, so I want to jump in on that one. I had the opportunity, and I said to Doc, one day I'm gonna tell him. And if you listen, Doc, it's your moment, sir. I had the privilege of spending Father's Day in his company, and I realized what people who don't have dads are missing out on. And I went back and I literally said to my mom, I said, if we had dads to affirm us and parents to affirm us the way that he does, I promise you, the struggles that we face as youth in homes that lack that, we wouldn't see that anymore.
You see, Justin, you allow it.
You allow it too.
So young people need to allow people to speak into a mentor.
Because when I was sitting on that table, like I was gobsmacked about just the wisdom and how he engaged with his own children, and I realized, it's this confirmation, this affirmation that changes you, which is what Uncle Lou was speaking about when we did the thing with my father. He said, it's time to operate from affirmation instead of for affirmation. Because that's where our youth is going wrong right now. We want people to say, you're good, you matter, there's something inside of you, we can see. But you're getting it from the wrong people. Instead of getting it from the person whose mind is to love you. Your parents, their mindset is that I want to protect you, I want to make sure that you are solid. So my advice will never be to tear you away from what's good. It will always steer you to the positive things. And that's why with households, it's so important to have a present father and a present mom. Because if you get this affirmation from a home, when people tell it to you outside, you've already heard it. No one is going to tell you something new about it, you know?
I fully agree.
And that's when we don't fall into traps.
So what do you...
No,
okay,
I just was going to say, it also comes from the Bible because the Bible is affirmation on its own. If you read the Bible, God is hyping you every time you it's like you are particular. I'm like,
the apple of my eye, chosen generation.
Chosen, I'm like, yes.
You
are
fearfully and
my
wonderfully
image.
made.
Yes,
Come on now.
me. So I'm like, if you know, it always goes back to Christ.
But you won't know if you don't.
If you don't read the Bible.
That's my favorite.
Read the Bible.
You won't know if you don't know. You will open it up and read it. But here's the thing about the point you
But
made.
before you go there, it shows me that youth today wants affirmation from the wrong
world.
People.
the wrong people. They want their boyfriends
Yes.
and girlfriends
Yes.
to
To
tell
affirm
them
them. You're
how
beautiful.
beautiful they are,
You're
and then
gorgeous.
it goes from that to another action.
Yes,
you
ma'am,
get what
because
I'm
there's
saying,
always
and
a
that's
reaction from
there's
that.
always.
Always. But again, it stems back originally
On
to
the
what
home.
Brett said, the home and all this, and what Justin said. But the point on social media is that they see these influencers
Doing all of
this, right? But the reality of the matter
They
is,
don't
right?
tell you what's happening.
They
behind
don't
the
tell you what's going on, and they don't tell you how difficult it is.
It's a lie.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, ne? So I know influencers, ne? I know I had a YouTube channel myself. I know what it takes to get your subscriber chat up. I know what it takes to get people watching. I know how much consistency it takes. It's not a overnight where you just come and then
you
all of a
pop
sudden
in.
you have 1 million subscribers.
Doesn't
Yeah,
work like
you
that.
have a blue tick. Here you have this, and everyone's just
Yeah.
chanting your name. It doesn't work like
doesn't
that,
work
my
like
friend.
that.
You really have to work this thing. And the people who get it quickly like that, there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
That they don't tell people
that they don't
about.
tell you. People who sign to labels and stuff, there's money that gets pumped into your image, into your brand, into getting followers, into getting subscribers. But while you're doing that, there's a other compromising thing you have to do here on the side.
Wear the
that
certain
you-
outfit. Say the certain thing.
Oh, sleep with so and so to
Yes,
get
yes,
this.
sir.
They're not telling the public
Yeah,
that.
they don't.
You just seeing, yo,
They
this one
don't.
have 1 million followers.
Yeah.
Yo, this one is doing this. Oh, did you see? This one is now here. This one is not showing you. Once the
What
camera gets
real
switched off, what's
things.
actually going on?
Yeah.
I
It's
went
not
to
So
easy,
what do you
bro.
say about cyberbullying before we end off?
Sure. Okay, so I just want to say this. Social media is not real. And a lot of people will disagree with me, but this is the reality of it. What you see on the media is portrayed for a certain reason.
Yeah.
You never get the backstory of where it came from, how we got there, and what we're doing. And that is why it's easy to bully someone on social media.
That's right.
It's easy when that blue tick is
That's
there
right.
to have that
To
weird
write a
comment.
comment,
To
yeah.
write a comment, to break someone down, and then people, because they follow that person, automatically jumps on that bandwagon. Right now in the social media space in the US, if, for example, Nicki Minaj says something against someone, jy ken nie eens die mens nie, maar jy comment ook, you breaking someone else down without
That's
realizing
so
the context.
true.
But we're doing that because to fit in and to follow the way the social media trends are, we want to be seen as, we like that post, we like that. So when we have to comment on people's thing, like the Beehive is one of the people. When if you say anything about
if you say Beyonce can't
they
sing,
attack you.
yo.
They don't even wait for you to say, okay, this is why I said this. They attack you because it's their
It's
person. How
Beyonce.
dare you? They do that to everyone. You can get cancelled right as we're sitting on the show. One wrong move from anyone. Social media, we cancel it immediately because that's how easy
Yeah,
it
you
has
can even
become.
you even get this in church that you cannot comment on
Yeah.
someone else's post. If you do,
You get cancelled.
that person actually gets into trouble because you just commented on the person's post. If you find these things happening, it is bullying. It's
But you know,
bullying.
you get to a point where you don't care anymore. I
Yeah,
got
I care.
no, no. Come and be honest with
No,
you, right?
I hear because it does
Nah,
hurt. It
but-
hurts.
Nah,
Yeah.
but come and be honest with you, right?
It's not
When,
right.
but listen, when I was doing factory, right, there was a lot of comments under my stuff. Every time I post a sermon, people used to comment nonsense, right?
Illuminati.
And in the beginning,
Unashamed. You make it up.
yeah, you're making the
Illuminati.
Illuminati sign. So in the beginning, I used to read it, né? And then, yo, brah.
Bothered you.
Yo,
inside,
bruh, then I get
cooking.
mad. I'm like, this person doesn't even know me. Then I go into the person's profile to see
That's
who
the
it
eyes
is.
they have.
And wow.
Once you go into
I'm
the
like,
profile,
this one
they
only have 10 followers, but I want to come
They
tell
have
me.
you.
And wow, you know, it used to really irritate me.
Rile you
Then
up.
I got to a
Okay.
point, right, where then my social status started going to a higher level. Then I started feeling. Then it's like a chihuahua here by your ankles, and you're like, because you realize that your voice is stronger. You realize
Yes,
that you
that's
know what,
very
Brian,
true, sir.
I have a much bigger platform than you. You got 5 followers here. Why must I worry about what you
Worry,
think?
yeah.
Then you really, and it sounds arrogant, but I had to tell myself that to almost put up a.
give yourself a barrier.
to guard myself,
guard
like
yourself,
guard my
yeah.
heart, like who's this person? I'm not even gonna take them seriously.
That's
And
very
then you
true.
get to a point there where you genuinely don't care. In fact, you get to a point where you don't only care, you lean into the controversy, because when you start leaning into the controversy,
No
it
bad
generates.
publicity.
Then it generates views, bro.
Yeah.
Then it generates people talking. Then it generates conversation. Then you're like, I got your way I want you. You don't think I'm feeling some type of way. Meantime,
I'm
I just
using
got
you.
15,000 subscribers because of you.
That's a marketing strategy. That's
Yeah.
what they teach.
Yeah.
But that's what
They
I'm
say
saying.
no
You
publicity
lean into
is
the
bad
bad
publicity.
publicity.
Because the
Yeah.
bad publicity got Kim
Yeah, that's a
Kardashian
fact.
famous.
That's
It
true.
gets a lot of people.
Bad
That's
publicity
true.
works more than good
Good publicity because people are
Because people
talking
talk
about you and
quickly.
people want to know,
What happened?
what's it? No, I don't know. you just generated views.
Side
There was even a trend not so long ago. I forgot on which app, but there was a whole trend where like we on this day we unfollowing this guy. Like it just became
Wow.
I forgot who it was,
That's
but
insane.
there was just like on this day we unfollowing this guy.
And people would
And
unfollow
in the end, what happened? At the end of that whole trend, that guy had more followers because what people started doing is they started following him to unfollow him, so they can be part of the trend. So at the end, he had like
Welcome to social
he started
media.
with like 1 million subscribers or something.
Yeah.
Then he was like on 10 million by the end of it. But the whole trend was
Crazy. Just
unfollowing.
unfollowing
people.
But people were like, I'm gonna follow you, and on this day I'm gonna unfollow you.
unfollow
But then they
you.
forget to unfollow the guy.
Before
Maybe
you
you
go
should do
now,
that to talk with Joan.
Check your-
Unfollow.
Then
So
follow.
follow to unfollow.
so Brett, you in the school space now. How often have you spoken, and even Justin, you in the school space, you spoken to a child now where they're stressing and panicking about something, and then you that's done with matric, done studying, done, you like,
This is
It's not
nothing.
that
you're stressing for
It's not
notes,
that
bruh.
deep. I always
If I
tell
can
them,
fast forward your life another 5 years, you'll realize that you're crying for means nothing at this point.
Yeah, all
There's
the
one of my
time.
students right there next to you. When I had Mondré in my class, I would say to her, you're stressing about nonsense. Now it's just like, I see now.
But that goes to the back to the point of what you were speaking about in the beginning of the show. Things that we find important and big and massive, especially as young people. Oh, I have a panic attack. Oh, I have anxiety. And you're looking
Just breathe.
like 5 years in advance, 10 years in advance. You're like, yeah, you
Why did I
panic.
panic?
Yeah, you panic for twak.
Like
Yeah, you panic for
Sorry,
nonsense.
no, don't panic. I just want to read a few of your comments. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lynette, crystal clear. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lynette says, guarding your heart is so important. And then Pastor Denver Foster says, how can one change the heart of today's youth
Sure.
or young people toward the elderly and people in general? I think we dealt with that earlier on, right? Lauren Jody Lee Olifant says,
Yeah.
Or the wife. Yes.
hello, Lauren. They feel into each other's issues. It comes down to who you surround yourself with as well. You need
very
people close to you that speaks death to these
situations.
issues,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
so
so
good.
true. That is
That's
very
so
good.
true.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then Lynette says there's a big stigma about mental health and lack of understanding around it.
That's very true.
Mental health is as valid as any other condition. I
disagree
work
with
in a mental institution. People
disagree with it
are not exaggerating.
I disagree. Strongly.
You disagree, right?
Strongly. Very
Yeah,
strongly.
that is a debate
Okay.
for another
That's
day.
a debate on.
We're coming back with that one. I'm going to make a point of it. We're going to speak mental health, all right? And then Amir Barnes, 100% at law. At Lauren. But I believe that it lies in the renewing of your mind, because no matter the devil will try and force those issues, emotions, or to move you into those situations, but renewing the mind. I would say that's what she wants to say. Renewing the mind equips you for these challenges that majority are facing. So I want to say on that is we will definitely get
Revisit
us.
this
Yeah,
one.
we will revisit this
Next
one.
week, Thursday, 9 a.m.
No, not next week. Not next week.
No, Justin.
Yeah, but that's
Justin,
mental
Justin.
health.
Next week I'm not here.
Really
Justin,
So-
stop it.
So Anka's here.
But
And then Sarika says, good morning, family. And then Lady J says, absolutely, affirmations is vital, but it's very important for youngsters to be open and transparent with their parents instead of making excuses and go to the first affirmation they get. And that is amen.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
truly
That one deserves a
speaking,
boo, boo, boo.
yes, definitely,
deserves a-
definitely. You see, sometimes young people are not honest with their
is very
parents.
true.
A lot of the time.
A lot of
their
the
parents,
time.
Most of
what
the
they
time.
are
Most of
facing.
All the time.
Like 100% of the time.
What
Yeah,
did you
all
do?
the time.
Nothing.
But we know.
all the time, all the time. So it's
Sure.
very important, young people. Shout out to you all. It is still Youth Month. No, it's finished.
No,
Sorry.
it's July. But
It's
so
July,
every
in
every month
July.
is Youth Month.
But let's just say to you, keep on doing what God wants you to do, and
Yeah.
you will never know what God says about you. You know what? You will never seek other people's validation. If you value yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to first look inside before you can look outside. Look within you, right? And then see what God says about you
Yeah.
and run with what he says, because other people's opinions doesn't matter then, right? So
Not
that
at
is
all.
my encouragement to you. So a quickie, guys, we're gonna say tata to you. If you can have your one quick comment and tata.
Come on.
Guys, Jesus loves you. You know, you're beautiful, you're great, and stay great. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you had a good show with us. Looking forward to the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and click the bell so it shows you when we live again. Thanks.
Philippians 4 verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So in your all things, always remember that you have backing. There's a famous song by Victoria Orenze that says, I walk with God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. All of them affirm me, all of them walk with me. I have to fear nothing. So walk into the purpose of understanding who you are so that the people around you will never dictate to you what God has already affirmed for you. And good morning. Subscribe.
Good morning.
Yeah. I say just whatever you're going through, whatever you're facing, just take a breath and know that God is with you and he'll strengthen you through it all. So have a blessed Thursday further, and God bless.
Remember, you're never alone. Every Friday evening, right here at Crystal Church, you can come and make your way here. God bless you. Go in the peace of the Lord. Mwah.
In the shadows, as I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my dream. In the shadows, as I look upon my life, in the shadows, there's a passion inside. Heaven knows I'm living my